We had to lay it out flat and everything. I was sleeping on a futon for, oh God, 2 years. Slept on the futon for 2 years. I didn't book anything, 3 years. Living in Los Angeles, sleeping on the floor, nothing. Really affected my mental health. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought that, like, I was lying to myself, and everybody that was saying I was good was lying to me. I couldn't. It was just them, telling me that I was going to be good just because they didn't want to tell me the truth, right? During those 3 years, I was living with Jalen Cassell, who is he voices Okiyasu in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He's an anime writer. He directed the last season of the new Ranma reboot on Netflix. Like, we're really good friends. Like, we play D&D every other Sunday. Like, I'm leaving earlier so that I could go play D&D with him on Sunday. Like, he's a good friend of mine. He taught me how to dub, basically. When I was living with him, he taught me how to dub anime. And from there, we did like in-house dubs that were kind of like underground dubs where we didn't have like music and effects tracks, so I did all the sound effects. We found the music, kind of spliced it all together. We got some people in to do this like random stuff, and we dubbed a couple of anime movies that were never gonna get dubbed anyway. That was really fun, and that was how I learned how to do what I need to do. Then I took classes at Bang Zoom, and Studiopolis, and a bunch of other like major recording studios. And I got in front of directors, and the directors were like, "Oh, you know what you're doing? Okay, cool. Here's some auditions." And I auditioned, got in things like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as like a 3-episode villain. Just these are things that the casting directors do to like, he can do it. He can voice something, but can he voice a character? Right? He has a voice, but is there some like intention behind this stuff? Then I kept getting more roles. Then I kept getting offered roles. And then I eventually got cast after a couple of auditions in B-Stars, and that was where I was just like, okay, this is a protagonist in a melodrama that is a very unique style of storytelling. It is time to take the Rock Lee weights off. It's time to, you act my ass off. I'm gonna act my ass off and put every ounce of my schooling into this character in this scene and all this stuff. And for the first time in my career, I was able to be like, with the director, who I had known very well, I was able to be like, let's work together and let's make this really good. So if I have an idea, we're gonna stop the process just a second. I will make sure that we get out on time, we get out on budget, but let's work together. It's an us, we, our industry, right? There is no one person at the pinnacle of a lot of stuff, despite what solo leveling says. There is no one person who is doing everything, right? It's everybody, right? So we worked together and we made that as good as humanly possible. People really liked it. I just kind of kept auditioning from there and kept my career rolling. And I'm just blessed, honored, humbled, and honestly still kind of shocked to believe that I am here where I am right now doing what I'm doing. I feel like it's gonna stop one day. I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna all go away. This is a good dream, and it'll all go away, but you guys are the ones that come up to me at my table and pinch me and say, no, you're not dreaming, this is real, like, we're here for you, and we really, really like what you do. So that was the long and short. Now we'll open it up to questions. You can ask questions about VTubing, you can ask questions about voice acting, I used to do modeling work, about like face cam stuff, about on-camera work. I used to cosplay a lot. I used to cosplay Attack on Titan, and now I'm in Attack on Titan, which blows my mind, my tiny little mind. But yeah, just raise your hand, I'll point to you. Yeah, cool.
So as I've already let you know yesterday, you are the reason me and my fiance met. So my question is, are you an ordained minister? And if so, would you...
Oh, God, no. I am deeply, deeply honored that you would even suggest that, so thank you so much. No, I am not an ordained minister, but I hear it's just a course you can take online. I don't know when the wedding is.
Get on it, big man.
I'll try and get on it for you, man. Congratulations to both of you, by the way. Thank you so much for coming and saying hi and sharing your story with me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so watching Ski at the Infinity got me into skateboarding. It was a lot of fun. So I was wondering if you've ever tried skateboarding and if you're any good.
Yeah, actually, I used to skateboard in high school, and I skateboarded to and from class in college. And I stopped in college because my college, I went to Western Kentucky University, which is a directional school, but it's still a huge school. We're in the video games, right? We got our mascot in the video games. The mascot is a hill topper, the top of a hill. That's the mascot. It looks like it's a giant. It looks like Grimace made a red carpet. I'm not kidding. He looks weird. We're called the Hilltoppers because the school is built on a giant hill. It's built on a hill that goes up. I want to say like maybe 1.5 miles, 2 miles. It's a long walk to and from. And the acting school, Cherry Hall, was all the way at the top, on top of the hill. So I had to walk to class from the dorms that were at the bottom of the hill, all the way to the top. So that was one of the reasons I stopped skating in college, was because it would all have to be downhill, which I find to be terribly dangerous. And I never have broken a bone yet. Knock on wood. I have never broken a bone in all my years of skateboarding. So I would always do like flat tricks. I would never do anything like crazy or anything that had an incline that was more than 40 degrees or something like that. I was very scared. But a lot of skateboarding is getting over that fear, and that's what they talk about that a lot in Skate the Infinity too, is getting over the fear of skateboarding and falling off. But mostly it was a method of transportation. I think the coolest trick I could do before I stopped was like an impossible, and that was me ollieing off of a set of 3 stairs to get enough air for me to pull off the impossible, because I wasn't able to get my feet around the right way. But yeah, and then I stopped, and if you asked me to do a kickflip right now, I wouldn't be able to even like ollie, I imagine, just because my brain has been rewired in so many different ways that I don't do it. But I did used to do it. I wasn't amazing at it, but I was good enough. I was good enough to be like, whoa, cool. You're like walking in the mall and you see a guy, he's like, oh, I'll do a kickflip, and he does a kickflip, and you're like, yeah! I was that guy. I was the guy doing the kickflip. But yeah, very good question. Yes, I used to skateboard. Yeah.
Cool.
Cherry.
How did you guys get away with the absolute chaos that was the English dub? Because like it got us probably
The English dub of what?
through,
Of skate?
yeah.
So,
Some of those lines are huge.
well, it's because, in my personal opinion, it's because it was made during the pandemic and with the right kind of people that were, so there's a lot of like T's you have to cross and I's you have to dot and like red stamps you have to get nowadays when you're doing your dubs, because when you're doing them in the studio, you can, if you have a question, you can just run down the hall to the producer, ask the question, and then run back to the studio and be like, yeah, we can't do that, right? We couldn't. We were all in our own homes and everything. Even the directors were all in their own homes. They're like, I guess I could get on Slack and DM them, but like, we have an hour to do this, so there's not a whole lot of time to get immediate feedback. So a lot of it was, we'll record that, we'll record and all, and we'll take whatever's cooler, right? We had a rule of cool during the skate dub, and we're like, whatever sounds cooler, whatever sounds more fun, because we didn't have a manga, so that means we didn't have a fan base that we had to impress, right? And whenever, you'll notice that if you there's a lot of rigidity, rules, and regulations when it comes from like a project that is backed by Toei, right? That's an incredible amount of money, time, effort, professionalism, and you have to step your own game up to kind of meet everybody where they are. But we had this cool little guerrilla dub thing that we were doing with a bunch of professional actors that really knew what we were doing and knew what the show wanted to be, and we leaned into that as much as we could. We were kind of surprised at some of the lines passed, but there's a double-edged sword for the whole like good, fast, cheap triangle. You know what I mean? You can have it good and fast, but it won't be cheap. You can have it good and cheap, but it won't be fast, right? So it's like we were able to skirt that stuff. We were able to kind of go around the outside, and yeah, no, there's no one that we can report to that will, tell us no, and it's got to be out at this certain date, right, guys? I mean, we could get him back in to record pickup, but that would delay the episode like a week. Do you want that, producers? No? Okay, all right. Well, it looks like we got to go to copy with this, and then it comes out, people love it, and they're just like, well, now we can't change it. Everybody likes it. Everybody really, really likes what we did, so if we go back and change it, people will know and raise a ruckus and stuff like that. So we kind of used the good, fast, cheap triangle to our advantage, where it's just like, you wanted this good and fast, or you wanted this cheap and fast, so we did our own little thing. We put a little spin on it, and unless you want to pay somebody else to come back in and take it back over. But no, it was a lot of we definitely kind of like reeled it in on the later episodes, just because like we got people's attention and everything. And Skate's thing is it is unhinged to a certain extent, but there's a lot.
I know I'll never be the same. Shook my world so hard again. Wish I washed away my sins. He's a dead man walking, blank stare in his eyes. Should have given up on the ones I trust. Never should have been surprised when they shot him down. Cold blood to the ground.